Hey everyone, it's Carissa Wiley at sprinkledwithglitter.com. Thanks for joining me today. Today I am sharing two cards featuring the same press plate. I have a simple version and a stepped up version, and you can let me know in the comments below which of these two is your favorite. I'm using brand new products from Pinkfresh Studios' Delicate Details release, which is available today over on their site. I have links for all these products in the YouTube description below, so if you're looking for something in particular. This particular product suite includes a cling mount rubber stamp, a press plate, a coordinating die set, and a stencil set. But today I'm going to be featuring the press plate, which you can use with your Better Press system or your Glimmer hot foil system. You can also use this to do a blind or a dry emboss on your card fronts. I'm placing that onto my Glimmer hot foil platform, which was preheated, and then I set the timer. Once the timer was complete, I removed the platform from the base and I took it over to my Platinum 6 die cutting machine, where I'm going to add the foil with the pretty side facing the pretty side of my press plate. I'm going to add my white cardstock. I'm using some Concord and Ninth white cardstock, which is a very nice smooth white cardstock. And then I'm adding the thin shim and the spacer pad and running that through my die cut machine. Now I left that in there in real time so that you can see I'm not in a rush. This is plenty warm and it's going to give me the results I want. You can see as I do the peel and reveal, I have these beautiful images foiled onto my cardstock. Now I'm using some cardstock that's larger than I need so that I can cut it down later, but you could use an A2 size panel if you want to. Now I am repeating this process because I'm making two cards today, and so I need two sets of images. One of those sets I'm going to use in a panel form, and the other one I'm going to die cut to create individual images that I can use. While I have my Glimmer hot foil platform ready to go, I'm going to foil some images from the Lush Elegance product suite. This also includes a clear photopolymer stamp set, the press plate, and some stencils, as well as the coordinating die. So I'm grabbing all of the sentiments from this particular product suite and I'm placing them on my Glimmer hot foil platform. Again, I am pressing that timer button and allowing the timer to finish its course. Then I'm going to take the platform, remove it from the base, take it over to my Platinum 6. I'll add my foil and my cardstock along with the thin shim and the spacer pad, and you can see I have some beautifully foiled sentiments that I'll die cut later to use on both of my card projects. Now I'm going to be doing the ink blending, and I've left all of this in for you to see. I have sped it up, but keep in mind, I did the exact same ink blending for both card projects. So I didn't change up my color palette at all. I'm just gonna change up the way I'm using this product suite. So I'm starting out with stencil number 1, which is greenery, and I'm inking over the entire thing with fresh pear ink. And then I'm using a 1/2 inch blending brush to bring a little bit of tidal pond in at the base of this greenery. Now I'm choosing an unusual kind of greenery mix of colors today, but I think it turned out really beautiful. I was kind of experimenting here. I'm moving on to stencil number 2. Now this greenery is a little bit larger, so I'm going to be using 3 colors instead of 2 colors. I'm starting out with fresh pear. Then I'm going to come in with my 1/2 inch blending brush and the tidal pond ink, and I'm going to blend about 2/3 of the way up this greenery, starting at the base. This is going to help the colors kind of transition from one to the other. Once I'm done with the tidal pond, I'm going to bring in Lush Forest. It's one of my favorite greens in the Pinkfresh Studio ink color palette, and I'm going to use a 1/2 inch blending brush to bring that Lush Forest in on the base of this greenery about 1/3 of the way up. So I have 3 different colors blended here for this greenery to create this effect, and I think it's absolutely beautiful. Now for stencil number 3, it is the first floral stencil, and I'm using soft lilac and candy violet for all of these florals. I'm starting out by blending over the entire thing with the soft lilac using a 1 inch blending brush, and then I grabbed my 1/2 inch blending brush and my candy violet and added just a touch of that around the edges of these florals. For stencil number 4, I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to use a different colorway. So I'm starting out with Ballet slipper and blending over the entire stencil with the Ballet slipper. And then I'm going to add some punch to this pink using some bubble gum. Another absolutely beautiful combination. Now these don't sit right next to each other in the color family, but I love the blend of these two together. So just adding a little bit of that bubble gum here and there and at the base of some of those more cone-shaped florals to give it a little bit of shading. The final stencil in the set has some smaller floral images and some floral centers. So I'm taking more of those elongated florals and I'm blending first with Ballet Slipper and adding just a little bit of Candy Violet on the bottom of this, kind of changing it up. The other florals that are scattered here and there, I'm going to use Sun-Kissed on those. There's a few of those kind of connected to greenery and such. And then for the floral centers, I'm going to use Marigold. I'm using a 1/2-inch blending brush for all of this because they're smaller images and it gives me a little more control. Now I like to wipe my stencils before I remove them so I don't get any ink on my fingers, and that completes my ink blending. I'm going to roll this off of this grip mat so that I end up with less warping, and you can see the beautiful results I have here for that ink blending. I absolutely love this. Now, as I mentioned before, I did this twice so that I have 2 sets of images, one that I'm going to use with the coordinating die and the other that I'm going to use as like an all over background. So I'm going to start with the stepped up version of this card. And for the stepped up version, I'm using the coordinating die to die cut all of these images, which gives me several individual little floral and greenery images that I can scatter and arrange as I want to on my card. So you can see I have several images kind of set aside there. While I'm doing my die cutting, I'm also going to die cut the sentiments from the Lush Elegance product suite. And I'm just using the coordinating dies, lining those up and running them through my die cut machine. Now for this card, I decided to arrange these individual images on one of the Postage Edge rectangle die cuts. This is also a die set from Pinkfresh Studio that includes several sizes of these Postage Edge rectangles, but I had my images all arranged and I didn't want to kind of lose that arrangement. So I'm using a sticky mat. There are many of these on the market. This one happens to be clear. And I'm using that sticky mat to pick up all of those images off of that Postage Edge rectangle. Then I can flip this over and add some foam adhesive to the back. I'm making sure that I connect some of those pieces with the foam adhesive, and in other areas where the images need to be connected, I also slid my fine tip glue nozzle under those and added a little bit of liquid glue. Now this is another new cover plate die from the Pinkfresh Studio Delicate Details release. This is called Trellis. I'm going to die cut it from some antique ivory cardstock. I am adding my metal shim to my cutting plate sandwich or my die cutting sandwich so that I get a nice clean cut on this more intricate detailed die. And then I'm going to just smack the die on my work surface to release it from the die, and you can see I have this beautiful background. Now I have 4 of these Postage Edge rectangles that I'm going to stack up to give this some dimension. I'm just using some tape runner adhesive, but you could also use liquid glue for this. And I'm just going to layer them up one by one using the tape runner adhesive until I have all 4 of them stacked. Once I have that done, I'm going to start assembling everything together, starting with that trellis background. I'm adding some liquid glue to the back of this, and once I have it pretty well covered, I'm going to add it onto a card base that I created with Stamp Market's Sea Glass cardstock. I really love the mix of ivory and whites together. I think it makes for a beautiful color combination. And once I have that in place, I'm going to remove the backer on the foam adhesive that's on all of these images. And I'm going to take my sticky mat, line it up over those stacked up rectangles, and then peel back the sticky mat. Now, all of the little pieces will be left behind. You want to kind of be sure that you're not ripping up any individual leaves. So go slow as you remove the sticky mat, especially on smaller images like that. But it leaves me with the perfect arrangement. I decided I wanted a little gold edging on this Postage Edge rectangle, but not as much as the next size layer up. So I took a gold piece of cardstock, die cut it with that postage edge rectangle, and then sliced it in half using a trimmer. Now I'm going to add some liquid glue to the back side of that stack of postage edge rectangles and slightly offset those two pieces. Now, if you want to just keep it all in one piece and offset it just up and to one side, you can do that. But because I wanted it offset on all four sides, I went ahead and sliced it in half before I did the offsetting. And you can see that little gap on the back. That allows me to have that gold edge on all four sides. I added some liquid glue to the back of that, and I'm using the pattern of the trellis to make sure that I have it centered up on the card. Then I am going to take the die cut sentiment, offset it with another layer of matte gold cardstock, and adhere it kind of vertically on the lower left-hand edge of this postage edge grouping. I'm going to finish off the card project with some metallic gold pearls from Pinkfresh Studio, and that completes card number 1, which is our stepped up version. And that wasn't too hard, right? But we're going to keep it even more simple for card number 2. I'm using the single stitch rectangle dies from Pinkfresh Studio to die cut this panel. It's going to leave a beautiful stitch detail around the edge. Then I have another one of those sentiments that I've offset with some matte gold cardstock. I'm adding one of the basic banners that I've die cut from some sea glass cardstock behind it, but it wasn't sticking out as much as I wanted to. So I went ahead and just sliced that in half in the middle and then offset it where you could not see the seam from the front side of this greeting. And I think that that added a lot to kind of bring the eye in to this greeting. I'm then going to add that on to a vellum circle using some foam adhesive. I'll add my panel to my card front using foam adhesive, and then again, I hid some foam adhesive behind the sentiment on the back side of that vellum circle to give it a little more dimension. I'm finishing off with some more metallic gold pearls for the simple version of this card, and that completes card number 2 featuring the exact same press plate. I love to take something like this and create a simple version and a stepped up version, but be sure to leave me a comment below and let me know which of these 2 cards is your favorite. As always, I'll have links to the featured products used in these projects in the YouTube description below, so if you're looking for something in particular, be sure you check there. Or you can head on over to my blog at sprinkledwithglitter.com. I'll have that linked below as well. Over there, you'll find more still shots, more information, and a complete list of supplies, as well as some information on a blog hop that's happening right now, celebrating this brand new release from Pinkfresh Studio. There's lots of inspiration and prizes, so be sure to join me over on my blog to get in on all of that action. As always, I want to say thank you so much for stopping by and hanging out with me today. I am so glad you are here. You are so important to me. I know you can spend your time anywhere, but I appreciate that you come here. And when you come here, I hope you are inspired. I hope you have a little more joy and a little more light in your life. I hope you enjoyed these projects, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notifications here so you don't miss any of my card making, paper crafting, and live stream videos that happen here all the time. You don't want to miss out on any of the fun, so make sure those notifications are turned on. Thanks again for watching. I'm so glad you're here, and until next time, I hope you have a fabulous day. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the very end. You know, if you've made it this far, you are one of my favorites. To subscribe to my channel, go ahead and click the button on the left side of the screen. And here's a couple more video tutorials I thought you might enjoy.